Hey, I want to take a moment today to send a message to my viewers. Now, this isn't going to be a popular message. It's going to be probably a message that makes a lot of people angry. It's going to piss some people off. Some people aren't going to want to hear it. And it's not for all of my viewers. It's only for a portion of my viewers. I wouldn't even say most of my viewers. It's actually probably for a small subset of the people who watch my channel. Because people who watch my channel tend to be able to think for themselves. But there are these groups of people, and these are the people I want to talk to, that seem to deify the police. They just love the police. They put blue stripes on everything. They're like, the police are the best, and I've never understood why. Now, unless you're talking about the rock band from the 80s, I loved me some Gordon Sumner. I loved the police. Just really, probably too much. But not talking about them. I'm talking about police officers. People just seem to, I don't know, like I said, they deify them. They put them on a pedestal, like they think they're on our side. Well, I hate to break it to you, they are not on our side. Now, there are a few. There are some that stand up and protect our gun rights, etc., but they're few and far between. They're like pro-gun Democrats. And I want to talk about why I'm making this video today here in a second. But the police that actually stand up and defend our rights, they are definitely a tiny minority. Because when you look at the police unions, the police organizations, the departments, etc., they have become more and more and more anti-gun and more anti-rights of the citizens. They're all about control now. They're not about, serve and protect. They are about suppress and control. Believe me, as someone who was in law enforcement and went through that whole thing years and years ago, and then recently went through it again just to see how different it was. It's very different. It used to be about finding the best people to do the job. Now it's about finding loyal people that'll do what they're told. And it's very obvious in the interview process. So I've come to where I have less and less trust for the police. Now, sheriff's departments are sometimes different because sheriffs are actually elected officials. So if you live in an area where the people that live in that area are actually still have their heads about them, well, then your sheriff might have their heads about them. But as far as police departments, state police, etc., they are extremely anti-gun. If you look at a lot of the anti-gun stuff going on here in Washington, who's it backed by? The police. Who's showing up at the hearings to testify in favor of these anti-freedom bills? Local police departments, police chiefs, etc. They're backing these bills, and that's not just here in Washington, it's across the country. They are some of the biggest driving forces in anti-gun, anti-freedom legislation right now. And what I want to talk about that happened today that I saw that is the perfect example of it is we are all aware of the police officers that were shot raiding a drug house recently. Well, the police union guy was on there just irate. We have to do something about gun violence. We got to quit letting just everybody have a gun. And I'm just like, dude, that is one of the most anti-freedom things I've ever heard. And it's coming from people who are supposedly supposed to serve and protect, although they have decisively taken that part out of their job description lately through court decisions, etc. So this whole notion that they're on our side, it's wrong. And this whole notion that they're the bravest of the brave, they don't take a lot of chances in law enforcement, and they're paid well for it. They have adopted a policy of it's better to shoot first than it is to take any chances. That's another thing I have a problem with police. But right now I'm dealing with them being anti-gun. But you've got these unions out there saying we got to take guns out of the hands of people so that they quit shooting police officers while they're raiding drug houses, etc. As if universal background checks would have protected the police officers raiding a drug house. Because drug lords are going to obey the laws when it comes to getting guns. They're not going to get one if they're like, oh, I can't fill out a 4473 so I can't have a gun. They either probably could have bought the guns legally when they bought them or they got them illegally. The recent crime statistics show that the vast majority of guns used in a violent crime are stolen. If they're being used by someone who can't legally buy a gun, who's already a criminal, and they use a gun in a violent crime, it's usually a stolen gun. So the laws don't stop bad guys. Who would have guessed that bad guys, are willing to break the law? But my whole point today is I want to tell people, stop fucking kneeling down at the altar of, the blue ribbon or whatever that little blue stripe they put on everything nowadays is. Because the police are not on your side. There are some, like I said, but they're the exception. And where are they when their unions are standing up for anti-gun laws? Where are they when their unions are standing up for anti-First Amendment laws? Where are they when their departments are standing up for anti-gun laws? The same argument I make, whereas I say every time a dirty cop gets away with something because other cops cover up for him, means there are no good cops. If you keep your mouth closed, like those guys that just got tried for trying to cover up for the police officer who shot a guy when he shouldn't, they got acquitted, but still they tried to cover it up. So they're just as bad as the guy that shot the guy as far as I'm concerned. And the very fact that everybody follows that thin blue line and they won't cross it, that makes every cop in the department who doesn't speak up complicit every time something bad happens as far as I'm concerned. And it's the same with these anti-gun laws. When they don't stand up and speak against their union, when they don't stand up and speak against their chief, then they're just as complicit in it as the union itself, as the department itself. Let's not forget that back when I was in the military, we did a survey of military soldiers saying, would you fire upon citizens in a martial law situation? Would you shoot your neighbors in the streets? The military, by a vast majority, said, no, I would abandon my post before I would shoot my neighbors in the street. So the government was like, oh, that's not good. They're not going to do exactly what we tell them when things go bad. So then they got the right idea, hey, let's do this same survey with police departments, state police, local police chiefs. That came back exactly the opposite. The vast majority of them said they would fire on citizens. And that's when that's when the government decided, hey, let's not put all of our stock in the military. Let's put it in the police departments. Let's train them. Let's provide them with equipment. Let's tie them more to the government. Let's get them, keyed up and ready to go if there's ever civil unrest. Well, we'll count on them as our private army, not the military, because the military are citizen soldiers, and they're like, we're not going to shoot our own fellow countrymen because they believe in country. Police departments, if you've ever sat in one of the morning briefings now, it's very much, hey, be careful out there because remember, it's them against us and it's us against them. So they got no problem with shooting people in the street. So I am just getting tired of the people who fucking, oh my God, police department, I got a ribbon, I got a sticker, I got to love the police. Oh, the police are so fucking awesome. Don't question the police. I'm going to take all my advice from police officers. For one, they very seldomly know anything about the fucking law or about fucking firearms. I'll tell you that right now from every police officer I've ever met. Very few of them know anything about either. I just don't understand it. You should always have a healthy disrespect for anyone in authority. Now, I always say, when you directly interact with someone, treat them with respect until they show you they don't deserve that respect. Someone's got, respect's got to be earned. No, you always be respectful. I'm not saying go out and be disrespectful to police officers. You should be respectful to every fucking person you meet. Sometimes, even if they're rude to you, even if they don't deserve the respect, you're the bigger person, you treat them with respect. But this whole notion that they're on our side, that's garbage. They're not on our side. The billionaires and law enforcement are the biggest detractors of our rights right now. And I get so tired of seeing all the hero fucking worship of these police unions and these police departments and everything, like I said, that are trying so hard to strip us of our rights. So until people wake up and stop, adhering to that thin blue line, just like the officers themselves do, they're not going to be on our side, and they're not going to help us at all, if they ever will. So I'm just telling people out there, instead of keeping worshiping these people, you better start watching them, because like I said, they are one of the single biggest threats to our rights today.